Their pain still raw, Egypt's Coptic Christians have returned to pray at a church hit by a New Year's Day bomb blast.
Is the persecution of Coptic Christians in Egypt. It's been going on for a while now. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen tells us.
에서 유혈 충돌로 수천 명의 사상자가 발생하며 국가 비상사태가 선포된 것.
Egypt, not only directed at the military and the Muslim Brotherhood, but we are now learning how more than a dozen churches have been torched, set on fire for no apparent reason. It now appears that Egypt's Christian population is becoming collateral damage, at least as the Muslim Brotherhood does battle with the Egyptian army.
In the poor Cairo suburb of Khusus, 10-year-old Mina likes to escape from his tiny apartment onto the rooftops. There he can see the crosses on top of the local church, where policemen endure the intense Egyptian heat next to the entrance. It's unlikely that Mina realizes his father, Mirza Katia, a humble government employee, was killed on this very roof. A sniper's bullet caught him in the chest. On that April night of 2013, Mina's father was one of 6 Christians who died in sectarian violence.
We were sitting here all together when Dad went up to the roof to check on the church. He wanted to know what was going on there and if he had to go and defend it. He went up there twice. The third time he left, he didn't come back. He was brought back and laid down here.
Yemen Hanna prays every day for her 16-year-old daughter's life and health. She hasn't seen Anna for almost a year.
She was 16 years old. I have no idea why she left. I was at work. She was at home with her brother. She told him she was going out with her Muslim girlfriend to buy sunglasses and would be back home soon. She went away and didn't come back. I don't know anything about that friend of hers, but I'm sure she took her somewhere.
Yemen Hanna is convinced her daughter didn't run away, but was kidnapped. She is certain that the police barely even tried to find her daughter.
I went to the police and declared her missing. They call me periodically asking whether or not I've solved the problem. I always answer, is it me who has to solve it? You, maybe? They also told me I have to cooperate with them. How come they didn't question that Muslim girl?
We've documented about 500 cases of girls disappearing after the revolution. The case of 14-year-old Sarah Ishaq Abdul Malik is one of the most famous. I don't remember the name of the man who was accused in the kidnapping. He was the owner of a bookstore. She went out and didn't come back. Her father called the hospitals and declared her missing. According to witnesses, the last place she was seen was that exact bookstore. The owner was accused and there was a warrant to arrest him, but it wasn't carried out.
In Tanta Jazeera, local elders and the priest managed to settle the conflict. However, violence could not be avoided in autumn of 2011 in the southern city of Aswan. Muslims attacked a Christian church and tried to burn it down. They said it had been built without permission. 2 days later, 10,000 outraged Copts went out to protest in the center of Cairo, right in front of the Maspero State Television building. They clamored against Aswan's local governor and called for an independent inquiry into the church attack.
When this happened in Maspero, I wasn't far away from the Egyptian Television Broadcasting Center. I worked there at Video Cairo. Suddenly we could hear gunfire. I saw military trucks going back and forth at great speed around Maspero. People were forced either to the side of the road or towards the Nile. I saw a lot of bodies. It was awful. People whose arms and legs had been ripped off. Other people tried to cover the bodies somehow. My colleagues and I tried to escape to the television's office building, but they attacked us. We tried to show our documents. I was one of the first there. The officer figured out from my name that I was a Christian. He started yelling at me and hit me on the head.
20 lives were tragically lost in the Maspero incident, while about another 200 people were injured. About 10% of Egypt's 80 million population are Coptic Christians, making them the biggest denomination in the Middle East. The Coptic community has always been a difficult issue with national politics. This Christian minority is defined by its higher level of education, income, and unity. However, for generations, Copts have had to put up with the unspoken rule that bars them from holding senior positions in the government, army, or security services. After the Winter Revolution of 2011, many Coptic Christians hoped that religious segregation would disappear, along with the regime.
사상 최초로 실시된 이집트 대통령 선거에서 무슬림 형제단의 무르시 후보가 군부 출신 후보를 꺾고 당선됐습니다. 미국 정부는 기대 반 우려 반 속에 환영 성명을 발표했습니다. 워싱턴에서 이기범 특파원이 보도합니다.
이집트 선거관리위원회가 어젯밤 대선 결과를 발표했습니다. 무슬림 형제단의 모하메드 무르시 후보가 군부 출신의 아흐메드 샤피쿠 후보를 누르고 당선됐습니다.
إنني عازم معكم وبكم على بناء مصر الجديدة الدولة الوطنية الدستورية الديمقراطية الحديثة.
이집트 역사상 처음 실시된 자유선거에서 이슬람 세력인 무슬림 형제단이 승리하면서 중동적 정세도 많은 변화가 예상됩니다. 무르시 후보는 선거운동 과정에서 이스라엘과 맺은 평화협정을 재검토하겠다고 말했습니다. 또한 여성의 대통령 취임에 반대하는 등 보수적인 입장을 견지해왔습니다. 하지만 성명에선 여성과 기독교인 등 소수의 권리를 존중하겠다고 밝혔습니다. 또한 이스라엘
Egypt's Coptic Christians continue to face persecution from the country's Islamist majority, many of whom have been undertaking a campaign of intimidation, which has included sexual harassment, violence, vandalism, arson, and murder against the Christian population.
We really suffered in the period that they were protesting in Rabaa. I was constantly verbally abused for being a Christian. Even on the public buses, they would insult me for being Christian and accused us of being infidels and that we as Christian people deserve to be wiped off the face of this country, because they believe that we do not deserve to live in this country.
Christian churches in Egypt have been set on fire with regularity since the overthrow of Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in July, with nearly 40 looted and torched and a further 23 heavily damaged. Schools, homes and businesses run or owned by Christians have faced a similar fate.
The
current situation has shown an increasingly severe attack on all churches, on Christians and state institutions. The Muslim Brotherhood, I really don't understand what they're doing. We would have sincerely wished to communicate with them, to build this nation and reconcile, to find a peaceful solution, but it's all been in vain.
We are in a state of psychological war right now. It is tough, of course. They try to intimidate and terrorize Christians. They kidnap young girls. burn down Christian shops and pharmacies. But the situation is different from the one under the Roman Empire. In that period of time, they tried to kill all the Christians. As for us, and speaking as a Coptic church priest, we are not calling for emigration. If somebody wants to leave, let them go. But I want everyone to know that we will die, but we will never leave our country.